I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Michigan International is best known for its awesome speeds and competitive racing spawned by its broad racing surface and 73-foot wide, 18-degree bank turns. Michigan's width and steep banking ensure there's always more than one racing groove. And the fact that MIS is not a super speedway means drivers have more than enough power to make the challenge out of the turns at both ends of the speedway. Once upon a time, Indy cars frolicked on those high banks at breathtaking speeds. Witness to Paul Tracy's record qualifying lap of 234.949 miles per hour. Today, Michigan regularly vies with Daytona, Talladega, and Texas as NASCAR's fastest speedway, with Jeff Gordon holding the NASCAR Cup Series track record at 206.558 miles per hour. Richard Petty, David Pearson, Bobby and Davey Allison, Dale Sr. and Jr., Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson have all added their names to the roll call of MIS winners, one that also includes names like Andretti, Foyt, Unser, Mears, and Zanardi from the days when Indy cars raced in the Irish Hills. Allison to Yarborough, Andretti to Zanardi. The world's greatest race drivers have been coming to Michigan to test their mettle for more than 40 years. And the fans have followed by the hundreds of thousands. Tonight, it's race 13 of the ProSim Racing Alliance, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Michigan Speedway for the season finale of the ProSim Racing Alliance, race number 13, championship on the line here this evening. Let's take a look at those race details. 75 laps the race distance, 78-degree ambient temperature, 45% humidity, partly cloudy skies, almost no breeze at 2 miles per hour. Bet you that infield is not feeling a single bit of that breeze. Track temperature 115 degrees, unlimited tire sets, full load of fuel, good for 38 to 42 laps. One fast repair if necessary, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Going to be an exciting one here tonight for sure. Practice just about wrapped up, say a minute or so left in the session. Fastest so far, Albert Anderson with a 39.671. Will Hewitt, Will Jones, Whitmore, and Welch, your top 5. Note in the timing and scoring here on the left of your screen, most of the numbers you'll see, the driver numbers, vehicle numbers, are white. The yellow numbers, drivers, will be the indication of championship contenders here tonight. The way this works, very similar to what you see at the season's end of the NASCAR Cup Series. Best finishing driver amongst those 4 will be crowned the champion. Championship contenders tonight will be Will Jones, Derek Welch, Chris Hockley, and Mark Truxell. Haven't seen Hockley just yet. Hopefully he can make it here this evening. About 30 seconds left in the session. Qualifying will be immediately after practice. It'll be a 5-minute session or 2 laps, whatever the drivers get to first. And hoping to see Chris Hockley make it to the session here tonight. Again, championship contender, 1 of 4. Hate to eliminate one right out of the gate. So practice in the books. Albert Anderson with that top time. Qualifying begins now. So Bobby Jr., the first to roll out of pit lane. Bobby working the ultra-high lane here on his outlap, trying to build as much speed and momentum as possible coming to green. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the clock. Lap 1 begins for the 25 machine. Saw a fast time of 39.6 in practice. Bobby Jr. about to cross start-finish here. We'll see what kind of time lap 1 yields for the 25. It's a 40.360. Was fastest for a moment, but Colt Ansley goes top of the board immediately following, a 39.91. We'll stick with the 86 here, see if he can pick it up as Will Hewitt now goes to the point. Will with an 8.07. Big wiggle in turn 2 for Colt. That's going to kill this second lap. Switch over to Will Hewitt now. Shallow exit out of 2. And Will Hewitt across the line here at Michigan. Does not improve. 39.957 his second lap, but still the fast lap for now. 39.807. Will Jones, another championship contender here. 7th quick on his first lap, 40.063. Derek Welch currently 3rd fast. Highest amongst the championship drivers. Jones across the line with a plug check. Goes outside pole, 39.807, proverbially matches the time of Will Hewitt. Have to go out to the 10,000th place to really get a confirmation there, but looks like Jones outside pole for now. Albert Anderson, a 39.999 on his first lap. He was fastest in practice. It was a 39.6 and change. Anderson, lap 2 in the books, 4th quick, 39.868 for the 99. About a minute 10 left in the session. Alan DeFries on the Speedway. First lap for DeFries, 40.417, 17th quick. Look for a bigger pickup here from the 71. Lap 2. Still no sign of Chris Hockley just yet, so he may not be available this evening, unfortunately for him. Allen back to start finish. Lap 2 in the books. Picks it up to 15th, 40.304. And with just about 10 seconds left in qualifying, that'll close this session out. And it's official. So qualifying in the books, the Will and Will show on the front row. Will Hewitt, Will Jones. We'll take a look, though, our starting grid for race 13 from Michigan on the pole position with a 39.807 second lap time. It's the 33 of Will Hewitt. Now, looking to the outside, our Championship 4 contender, Will Jones in the 46. Look at that differential, 0.000. Can't go much further out. We don't show a 10,000th place, but that's how close it was here in qualifying. Will Jones will start outside pole. Row number 2, it's Rodney Roberts and Albert Anderson. Row 3, Colt Hansley and another Championship 4 contender, Derek Welch. Row 4, it'll be Steve Whitmore and Vincent Short. Row 5, Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Keenan Kimber. Starting in 11th, it's the 5 of Mark Truxell, another Championship 4 contender tonight. Thomas McMullen will start in the 12th position. 13th starter, it's Frank Griffith. Peyton Wagoner will start 14th. Alan DeFries 15th. Matt Nicholson in the 55 rolls from the 16th spot. Aaron Longworth 17th. Jason Steptoe with Plus EV Racing will start 18th. And shotgun on the field, it's the 13 of David Bradford in the 19th position. It's your starting grid here from Michigan Speedway. Field getting gridded up as we speak. All trucks have gridded up. And they roll away. One pace lap before we see the green flag. Again, race details for tonight. 75 laps, the race distance. 78-degree air temperature, 45% humidity, partly cloudy skies. 2-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temp creeping up slightly, 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep a close eye on that. As track temperature goes up, handling goes down. Unlimited tire sets over the wall. A full load of fuel, good for 38 to 42 laps on a full tank of fuel. One fast repair if necessary, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Get further details you'll see in the timing and scoring here at the left of your screen. Driver numbers indicated with the color yellow will show your championship contenders. Those drivers will be eligible to win tonight. The highest finishing driver amongst those 3 will effectively become the champion. Unfortunately, one of those drivers, Chris Hockley, not here this evening, will not take the green flag, so his championship hopes likely out the window. Field in 3 and 4. Pace car is going to make the left turn down pit lane, and we'll be green flag racing in just a moment. Will Hewitt, Will Jones, the Will and Will show with identical lap times in qualifying, lead them to green, and there it is, green flag in the air from Michigan. Field in 1 and 2, already a battle for the race lead. Roberts from the 3rd spot jumps to the inside of Will Hewitt. Meanwhile, Will Jones looking to the outside of Will Hewitt. We got a truck in the wall off of turn 2. Maybe Matt Nicholson, indeed it was. He'll drop to the back, continues on, no yellow. Hewitt with the lead for now still. Off the racetrack, up a lane with Roberts to the bottom of the racetrack. Back to start finish. Will Jones mired back to the 3rd position. Roberts now 2nd. Hewitt with the lead down the backstretch. In tow is the 9, and then Will Jones, Anderson, and Ainsley, the top 5. On board with Will Hewitt. Roberts to the outside, has a run, keeps it up top. He'll be clear. Will Hewitt, new leader off turn number 2. It's Robbie Roberts. Last lap for Roberts was the fastest on the racetrack, the only driver below 40 seconds. So now a battle for 2nd is Hewitt up the racetrack. Will Jones to the bottom. Derek Welch running in the 6th position right where he started, finding his P's and Q's for the time being. He's got Bobby Hamilton Jr. now taking a look to the outside. Wants to pick up another spot. Bobby's up 2 on the afternoon so far in the first 5 laps. Bobby hanging there on the right rear of the 1. Rodney Roberts still continuing to lead here. Hewitt second. Will Jones, Championship 4 contender, in third. Then it's Cole Ansley and Albert Anderson. Bobby Jr. with a big run as Cole Ansley out of shape. Keeps his foot in it, though. Carries that speed back down into turn 3 as Vincent Short steps on the line to the inside of Derek Welch. Big time move there for the 15. Jumped to the bottom of the racetrack, got clear of the 1. Derek didn't fight back too much. And another brazen move there by Bobby Jr. just ahead of the 15. Might have had to save the truck off turn number 4, but nice and tight to the back bumper of the 86 as they head down into turn number 1. Now the 8, Peyton Wagoner to the bottom of the racetrack. 3 wide with Vincent Short in the middle, Bobby Hamilton Jr. on the top. Wagoner's going to tuck back in behind the 25 with no one to help the 15 of Short. Drafting does play a pretty big part in being quick around this place, especially these big trucks punching such a massive hole in the air. Peyton Wagoner for a moment. Where did he go? He's disappeared. He's come back in, though. Connection issue for the 8. Short still moving forward. He's up 3 positions so far, looking for more. Not quite clear of Cole Ansley yet, but he's got Will Jones ahead of him. Can sniff the draft off the 46 for a moment. Minot sideswiping there with the 25. Now remember, these Championship 4 drivers, or 3 in this case tonight, they do not need to win this race to win the championship. They just have to finish higher than their other championship competitors. So as it stands right now, if the race were to end now, it won't, Will Jones would be your champion, but we've got lots of racing still to go, about 70 laps or so to be exact. Real loose there, Bobby Jr., rear end hanging out. Real loose off turn 2, saves the truck, keeps his foot down. Meanwhile, battle for the lead shaping up again. Will Hewitt jumps to the inside of Rodney Roberts, looking to take the top spot back. Side by side still now into the turn number 1. Roberts in the 9 machine up at the top of the racetrack. The 33 of Will Hewitt on the bottom, but the faster run right now is of the 9. Off 2, still a drag race down the back straightaway. Just barely skimming the wall is Rodney Roberts. This battle continues. Side by side, and Roberts goes around all by himself. Does he save it? He does! Oh no, but he gets collected. We've got trouble off turn 4. Cole Ansley in it as well. Multiple drivers getting caught up in this one. Bobby Jr. backs up the racetrack, clips Frank Griffith. Big time wreck here off turn number 4, and it was started with the 9. Rodney Roberts driving hard to maintain the race lead. It started to come around. It looked like he was going to hang on to it, but was not able to. Well, let's go back and look at it. Gonna rewind this a bit here. You can watch it all unfold. So quarter speed here. From the blimp, watch the 9 truck to the outside. Starts to step out right here. Now Rodney's got some opposite wheel into it trying to save it, and it really looked like he was going to hang on to this thing. Albert Anderson lucky to get by on the top. Then Vincent Short is just going to get clipped a little bit. Short continues on, but it sends the 9 back up the racetrack in front of championship contender Will Jones. Cole Ansley gets in it. Now there's a significance there as DW Derek Welch gets by on the inside. Thomas McMullen gets a piece. Bobby Jr. Steve Whitmore in the 70, of course, you see. Keenan Kimber in it. Better than half the field getting collected in this one. So early pit stops here at Michigan. Looks like tires and fuel for just about everybody. We haven't run a lot of laps to this point, but unlimited sets over the wall, so guys are going to take advantage when they can. Hewitt's going to win the race out. That'll be Vincent Short, Albert Anderson, and Derek Welch, Will Jones. That'll be the top 5. Now, Mark Truxell still in pit lane here. I don't know if he got in trouble during this caution. Maybe he went down pit lane at speed. Maybe he received a penalty, hard to say. Or maybe some damage, just trying to get some repairs made to the 5. Again, only a 19-truck field here tonight, so not the hugest of penalties if you've got to go all the way to the back for one reason or the next. In Truxell's case, it's good to get those repairs made. Get that truck as straight as possible. So we're expecting to get the 1 to go signal as the field crosses start-finish this time. So Rodney Roberts still parked in his stall in pit lane. Likely more damage than he anticipated. Went from battling for the race lead to at the back of the pack here. Rodney Roberts back on track here, trying to get caught up as we're ready to go back green flag racing. Will Hewitt, Vincent Short will bring them back to start finish.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. We're racing again from Michigan. Short swaps down into the 3rd position as Albert Anderson now jumps up to 2nd. Derek Welch, though, looking for a move here, looking to get past the 15. Not enough to do it just now. Goes to the middle lane, but now he's got Keenan Kimber looking to the outside. Now a battle for the race lead as Albert Anderson jumps to the inside of Will Hewitt at the stripe. The 99 will lead it. Hewitt going to try and battle back around the outside here. We'll see if he's got that run off of turn number 2 on exit. Should have the speed, but man, at the bottom of the racetrack, Anderson just powering away. Puts 5-6 truck lengths on 2nd place, 4/10 to be exact. Back to the 33. Close call mid-pack here. Peyton Wagoner had to jump to the outside. Don't know if there was some contact there with Thomas McMullen. Rodney Roberts back in action and managed to stay on the lead lap through all of it. Truck looks pretty clean. This race certainly not over just yet, but want to go back up here now and talk about David Bradford. Remember, he started at the back of the pack. Bradford in that number 13 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro started last. He's up 13 spots in 6th. Battle for position now. Derek Welch to the inside of Will Hewitt. This now for the 2nd spot. Hewitt had closed the gap on Anderson. Now has to contend with the one of Welch. Welch now to the bottom of the racetrack. It's clear. Now Hewitt had the run down the backstretch. He's going to swap lanes here. Look back to the inside on Welch for that 2nd position again. Now into 3. Now Will Hewitt's just out here trying to win this race. He doesn't care about points, championship, none of that. Derek Welch, however, I know he wants to win the race, but he wants to win that title more, I'm sure. Oh, Welch real loose off turn number 2, gathers it up. He's got Keenan Kimber all over the tailgate of the 1. Kimber's been dealing with a little bit of connection issue as well, though. That's got to make you nervous if you're Derek Welch, but to the bottom of the racetrack in 3, goes from 3rd to the race lead in just a couple of corners. Big time run for Derek Welch. That actually might have been off the nose of Kimber. So Welch will lead that lap. Lap 19 goes up on the board. Now battle for the 2nd spot. Derek Welch trying to drive in the mirror as much as he can as well because the draft is so potent here at Michigan. You saw how he got the lead there, a big push from Keenan Kimber, a little bit of bump draft, if you will. Same can happen to him if he's not paying attention and not careful. Just as easily lose that race lead to either Will Hewitt or Albert Anderson, or maybe even Will Jones or Keenan Kimber. Really, any of those guys in the top 5. Maybe say top 6 too, because David Bradford's coming through here as well, and Kimber's in the wall. Kimber, right side slap on the outside safer barrier, continues on. He's going to lose a spot, maybe more here as Bradford and Wagoner go by. Bradford for sure, but Wagoner looking now to the inside on the 13. Real loose on the bottom of the racetrack. That truck hung right out. Further back towards the front, Welch still leads, but he's really doing all he can to fend off the 33 of Hewitt, and the caution is out.
Quickly, tell me what you got.
Maybe our comp caution here at lap 20, lap 21. So as they run at the line, it looks like Welch, Hewitt, Anderson, Jones, Bradford, then Keenan Kimber, Peyton Wagoner, Bobby Jr., Frank Griffith, Thomas McMullen. That's the top 10. Further down the line to be Mark Truxell in 11th, Vincent Short, Jason Steptoe, Aaron Longworth, Rodney Roberts working his way back through, Nicholson, DeFries, Whitmore, and Ansley. Colt's down a lap here. I don't know if he tried to short pit that break. Came down and hit the pit lane here at lap 19 just before the caution. I think that was by design. Colt's been known to do that in the past over the last handful of seasons. So even though this is our second caution, I'd still expect everyone to come down here, put some fuel in the trucks, tires included. I think it was lap 9 when we had our first caution. Here we are, lap 22. Pit lane will be open this time by. Bradford pulls on a line into his pit stall. Wagoner, Kimber, Welch, Anderson, Hewitt, Jones, Hamilton Jr. Everybody up and down pit lane with the exception of Colt Ensley. He stays out on the racetrack. So it gives him some track position. Will Hewitt first out of the pits. Then it'll be Albert Anderson, Derek Welch, David Bradford, Will Jones, Keenan Kimber, Peyton Wagoner, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Mark Truxell. Field back to start finish here. Get the 1 to go this time by. So front row will be Cole Ansley in the 86. Remember, he short pit the brake. Comp caution came down and pitted lap 19 just before the yellow came out. Cycled back around to the race lead. So his tires slightly more worn than everybody else's, but not by much. Hewitt will be on the outside. Then Albert Anderson, Derek Welch, David Bradford, Will Jones, Keenan Kimber, Peyton Wagoner, Bobby Jr., and Mark Truxell, the top 10. Pace car is in.
Ready, green, 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 green.
Colt's going to lead him off turn number 4. Hewitt still second, but Albert Anderson pressuring. Hewitt closes the door, drops his truck to the low side of the racetrack. Anderson sticks it up top still. Top 4 trucks single file down into turn number 1. The battle on in the 5th position. Derek Welch and David Bradford. Bradford in the top lane there in the number 13 truck. The bottom is the black and green. number 1 of Derek Welch. And Vincent Short, trouble off turn 2, gathers it up, keeps it down the back straightaway, no caution. Meanwhile, Bradford takes the 5th spot from Derek Welch. Welch are running the tire tracks of the 13. Up the racetrack, Peyton Wagoner just barely off the wall. Might have scraped it with the right rear, and a change for the race lead as Will Hewitt gets to the inside. Not quite clear yet, though. The 46 of Will Jones trying to push the 33 out in front. Jones takes a peek to the bottom of the racetrack, gets a fresh batch of clean air on the nose of his truck, but too much clean air as it over-rotates off of 2. He saves it as well. Oh, contact in the back of the pack. Vincent Short into, I think, Peyton Wagoner. No, Jason Steptoe. Steptoe is around, spinning down the backstretch. Steve Whitmore avoids. No contact. Caution comes out for the 3rd time. Get a look at this here in just a moment. Let's take a look. Here we go. Now from here, it looks like Short may have had another issue on a turn 2. Yes. But was it due to some contact? It looks like there may have been some contact here. Try to get the best look at this. Steptoe's in his lane. Vince just keeps coming up the track, though. Not quite clear of the 50. Kind of scrape bumpers there. Short up the track. He'll touch the wall just a bit. Rodney Roberts in the middle. Meanwhile, Steptoe still trying to gather up his truck. Makes some more contact with Short. Little different angle here. See Steptoe still there. Short coming up the racetrack. Still about a foot of nose along the right side of the 15. Once again, though, pit stops underway. Again, unlimited tires in this series, so every opportunity they get, they're going to come down and take it. However, it looks like Cole Ansley and Peyton Wagoner stayed out on the racetrack. Hewitt will win the race off pit road again. Try and go back to this here quickly again. I want to ride on board with the 50 of Steptoe. So this is the middle of 1 and 2 here. They're going to see initial contact here. There you have it. Front row on the restart will be Cole Ansley and Peyton Wagoner the outside. Field working the back straightaway here. We will be green the next time by. Still not quite halfway, about 7 or so laps away. Pace car makes the left turn down pit lane. Cole Ansley on the throttle
Green
here.
flag.
Green flag back in the air. Michigan Speedway. We are back racing, and Ansley handily out in front. Hewitt now second. Wagoner late on the jump. Bottom of the racetrack now. Will Hewitt challenging for the race lead. Colt trying to keep him down there. Close. Might have been a little bit of contact with Colt Ansley and Will Hewitt. If there wasn't, I don't know how much closer it could be, but a big wiggle there by Colt up the racetrack now. Opens the door for Will Hewitt. Now a run to the outside. Albert Anderson looking to be part of this mix. Picks up second, maybe even the lead down into one. They're 3 wide for the race lead here at Michigan. In the middle, it's Colt Ansley. Anderson up top, Hewitt on the bottom. Now through 1 and 2. Peyton Wagoner thought about tucking in, gets into the wall on exit at 2. It's going to slow the momentum of the outside lane. Everybody's going to scatter. Now Anderson, the race leader. Ansley back to second. Will Hewitt working the outside of Will Jones. Now Colt Ansley scraping the wall a bit off of turn 4. That's going to break his momentum considerably. He'll give the second spot now to the 33. He'll set his sights back to Albert Anderson. Again, keeping in mind, all the drivers you see in the timing tower with white numbers next to their name, they're just here trying to pick up a trophy here tonight, and that's just for winning the race. The yellow numbers, they're trying to win the championship. Yes, a race win would certainly do it, but really all they need is to finish ahead of the other 2 drivers that were supposed to be 4, but Chris Hockley unable to make it here tonight, so it's between the top 3 championship contenders, Jones, Welch, and Truxell. Right now, Jones in position to pick up a championship, but we still have got more than half this race left to run. Peyton Wagoner to the inside of Colt Ansley. This now for the 4th position. Anderson continues to lead. Bobby Hamilton, trouble. Keenan Kimber and Frank Griffith, I believe, have come together out of turn number 2. Caution comes out. Plenty of runoff to the inside there down the back straightaway. Don't think they hit anything else. Just a moment ago, yeah, it was a big wiggle there by the 54 of Griffith. Sent him up the racetrack by about a lane, but into the side of the 65 of Keenan Kimber. Not a big wreck or anything, but enough to bring the yellow out. So I'm interested to see if any of these drivers take an opportunity to pit again. I know we really haven't been under the green all that long here since our last restart. It looks like everyone's going to head down pit lane again. So it looks like everybody deciding to pit this time. Nobody trying to gamble and stay out. And Cole Ansley, one of those drivers that did play that gamble. It hasn't hurt him too terribly, but he just didn't quite have the same pace as the other drivers that had the fresh rubber. Cole down and away. 3-wide race off of pit lane. Ansley's going to come out, looks like 4th. So we get set here for another restart. This should be the one to go. Front row will be Albert Anderson and Will Hewitt. Then Will Jones, Colt Ansley, David Bradford, the top 5. Peyton Wagoner, 6th. 7th, McMullen, Truxell, 8th. Short, 9th. Welch, 10th. While we have this opportunity, we work the caution. Keep in mind, this is season 1 of the ProSim Racing Alliance. Again, many of these drivers have been racing together for quite some time. You want to throw it back to the Superior Class Auto Racing days where Track Limits Network, formerly HBR TV, got its start. But this is going to continue, folks. There's going to be some additional race nights coming soon. Not necessarily at HBR TV, but there will be a season 2 for this night. The series will be running the newly updated ARCA car, so certainly looking forward to that. Some details to come on that front as well. Some fresh setups going to be in the works for these guys. Should be fun. Pace car is in. Anderson waiting and waiting and waiting on the gas, and he heads out. Big checkup behind with these guys. A little bit of an accordion effect behind the leaders. Anderson gets away. Will Jones there right to the back bumper, has the run off of turn number 2. May stay tucked in, may step out. Will he? He's thinking about stepping out. Still thinking. There he goes, taking a look. And a little bit of contact into Anderson. That could have been scary. That was scary. It could have been bad, but they get away with it. Jones to the inside of the racetrack now, takes over the top spot. Anderson up the racetrack, real loose, trying to hang on to it. The marbles, keeps it out of the fence. Maintains the second spot now with Will Hewitt to the back door. Swap over here coming. Anderson going back to the lead here, trying to take it back from the 46. Oh, real loose. Anderson off turn number 2. Can he save it? Drives it down to the runoff in the backstretch. He's going to lose a ton of ground, but keeps the fenders on it. Hammers back down on the gas. Not even to the back of the pack yet. They barrel back into 3. He rejoins along DeFries and Steptoe. They clear him into turn number 3, but Anderson goes from the lead to 14th in just the distance of turn 2 down the backstretch. Now back out front, Will Jones to the point. Then it's Colt Ansley, Will Hewitt, Bradford, and Truxell, the top 5. With that, we're going to step aside here. Going to Track Limits Network side-by-side break. The one and only, but we'll be back after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
figure something out.
Back at Michigan Speedway, you saw it in the side-by-side. Peyton Wegener and Mark Truxell coming together, putting us under caution for the 5th time tonight. Field going to work down pit lane here just in a moment. While that's going on, let's go back again and take a look at the incident. It kind of looks like the 8 was coming down a little bit, made contact with Truxell. Again, Truxell, one of our championship contenders here tonight. He was able to drive away. Not sure about the right front damage he may have received from that. David Bradford down and away. Frank Griffith, Truxell, Ansley. Will Jones will be out first. Hewitt's going to lose a lot of spots here, leaving pit lane. I want to try and get another look at this from Peyton Wegener's perspective. More so from the Truxell perspective. Yeah, Truxell's going down the racetrack here. Still down, still down, still down. And Wegener just turns left. The restart will come at lap 47. So it can be Will Jones and Albert Anderson on the front row. Pace car heads to pit lane. Barney, the flagman, with the green in hand. It'll be lap 47. Jones on the power. Anderson has to react. He'll cross down to the bottom of the racetrack before start finish. I don't know if that's a rules violation in this series. It is in others. Anderson closes the door on Truxell. Will Hewitt starting to march back towards the front as well. This now the 5th position. Looking for more. Griffith on the outside. He's got it, but not for long as Hewitt powers around. 3 wide behind him. Derek Welch on the bottom. Kimber in the middle. They get doubled out. All 3 of our championship contenders now within the top 5. Will Jones leads. Truxell runs 3rd. And 5th is now Derek Welch. Will Hewitt now stalking Mark Truxell for the 3rd position. Gets a nose to the inside off of turn 4. Coming to the stripe. He may have it here. Not quite enough. Truxell hangs on to it for now, but into turns 1 and 2 might be a different story. Truxell hanging on, working the high side, going to try and build a big-time run off of turn number 2, but it really hasn't seemed to produce that tonight as Hewitt takes the spot cleanly. Will Jones, your current race leader. Hewitt working his way back towards the front, though, into the 2nd spot. Quickly disposed of Truxell and Anderson, and now going for the race lead. Looking to the inside of Will Jones off turn number 2. They'll drag race down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Hewitt still there, trying to get enough momentum to get clear of the 46. He's got position into turn 3. Will he have it out of turn 4? Got a nose in front, still not clear. Jones swaps up the racetrack here. We'll see if he's got the run to the line. Looks like Hewitt's going to lead this lap. Top 5 under a blanket, all in formation into turns 1 and 2. Still the battle for the race lead. Hewitt on the bottom, Jones up top, down the back straightaway still. Side by side, we got trouble. Griffin is around. Everybody scatters to avoid, and somehow we stay green. Griffin will pull it down to the apron of the racetrack. Limp his way back to pit lane. Back out front, the battle for first still rages. Hewitt on the bottom, Jones still topside. Back to the stripe, yet another photo finish for this lap. Jones will lead him at the stripe this time with 24 to go. This battle for the race lead just will not go away. Again, Jones has got to be careful here. He does not need to win the race, and Anderson goes around. And Kimber as well.
You doing there, bud?
Kimber gets the wall. Anderson will drive away. Yellow on the speedway here for the 6th time with 24 laps remaining. Will Jones out in front was there just enough to maintain the race lead when the yellow flew. We'll take a look at it just a moment ago. Now that's major netcode there. Unpacking this just a bit. You see Anderson does get a little loose on the exit of turn 2, but Kimber just disappears. You watch him, he'll blink out right here, and now nobody knows where he's at, including Anderson, and you see he just gets turned by nothing. There's nobody there, but there was. It was the 65 of Keenan Kimber having some connection issues. So with 23 to go, I don't think anybody made the trip to pit lane here. I think pits did open this time. Certainly everybody can make it to the end on fuel to this point. No, here they come. Pits must not have been open just yet, so here they come. Will Jones, Will Hewitt. It's been the Will and Will show most of the night. Quite the pit board we're looking at there. I think that might be Jeff Napier. I'm not 100% sure. If you know, you know. 4 tires and fuel. And Jones will win the race off pit lane. So Field getting caught back up to the iRacing pace car. We should be seeing the one to go this time. Set us up for a restart with 20 laps to go. Our 3 championship contenders all occupying the top 4 positions on the racetrack. The interloper of Will Hewitt in the 2nd spot. Two drivers out of the race to this point. 55 of Matt Nicholson and Rodney Roberts, unfortunately, out of this one. Frank Griffith still on pit lane, getting repairs affected to his number 54. Very well could be out of this race as well. Is going to be Will Jones and Will Hewitt. We've been watching these two battle it out quite a bit this afternoon. These two very evenly matched. Again, Jones is the one that really needs to be careful, but I don't know. At this point, with those championship drivers working their way towards the front, they're all within the top 4 right now. He's almost in a position where he can't let the 33 go. He's got to put a buffer between himself and those other championship contenders. As we get ready for the restart here, lap 20 to go. Green back in the air, Jones on the gas. Welch is going to try and jump to the inside of Will Hewitt and take advantage of that 3rd restart position. Hewitt closes the door on the 1. Bobby Hamilton Jr. back into the top 5. Truxell steps out, takes a look to the inside of Derek Welch. Will Hewitt going to do the same thing here for the race lead into turn number 3. Side by side for the top spot. Seems that Hewitt prefers the bottom of the racetrack. It hasn't been able to clear the 46 just yet in doing it, but he does get the run. "19 laps to go. Hewitt and Jones back and forth, seesaw battling here at the front of the field. And Hewitt gets clear. New leader at the stripe. 18 to go. It's Will Hewitt. Will Jones all over the back bumper, though. Hewitt putting a little bit of daylight between himself and the 46 on the turn number 2. Not much, though. Jones, Welch, Truxell, the championship 3, running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here with less than 18 to go. Welch jumping to the inside, trying to look to the 46 to take that spot away. Not quite enough, has to settle in behind. Now the door opens again. Welch trying to go on the attack. Back to the bottom of the racetrack. Will Jones trying to take the lead back. Crossover move, slide job up the racetrack. Hewitt pulls hard left, and so does Vincent Short. Gets into Bobby Jr. Bobby straightens it out. Amazing save by the 25, but the battle continues here at the front of the field. Hewitt gets to the inside. Back and forth. These guys are trading blows here in the latter stages of this race. Big wiggle from Will Hewitt. Almost gets into Jones. Now Derek Welch side by side with Will Jones. Will in 2 separate races right now. One for the race win, the other trying to pick up a championship because that guy, the one to his inside, could take it all away. And Jones gets the fence off turn number 2. Keeps his foot in it. Loses a little track position. I think Welch will take the spot. So now Derek Welch, the lead championship driver, in the 2nd spot behind Will Hewitt. Now Mark Truxell pressuring Will Jones, trying to take that spot away. Oh, a little bit of contact with Truxell and Jones. Steptoe some contact as well. Thomas McMullen around off turn number 2. He'll straighten it out, or will he? No. Around he goes, but we stay green. Hewitt still leads. Welch in 2nd, looking for the race lead off of turn number 4. Gets alongside, not quite. And the yellow is out.
Yeah, did my radio sound bad?
Peyton Wagoner in trouble off of 4, now through the infield grass. So this will set us up for another restart here. 7th caution of the night. 14 to go. So we saw Thomas McMullen spin off at turn number 2, but this is what put us under the yellow. Peyton Wagoner. Jason Steptoe up the racetrack, just gets the left rear of the 8. Anderson gets into the back of the 50 as well. That's the 2nd time today Wagoner's almost gone up on his lid. Certainly some air getting underneath that truck, but stays grounded. So 13 laps to go currently. We should get the restart, I'm thinking, here with 11 or 10 to go. Gonna get pit stops out of the way here. And now Will Hewitt will have the benefit of restarting first. that's going to put Derek Welch in a tough spot because he's going to restart second. And traditionally, just the way that it's gone here in iRacing, that second restart position is really the unluckiest place to be. It really sets you up to allow the third place restarting driver to take full advantage and get that position. So 4 tires and fuel for everybody up and down pit lane, I would assume here. Will and Will at the front of the field. Truxell down and away. DW down and away. But first off of pit lane, it's going to be the 33 of Will Hewitt. We're going to get a quick break out of the way before the restart. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back in Michigan Speedway, it'll be 10 laps to go when we get the restart here. Hopefully that'll be enough to settle it here. Front row is Will Hewitt, Derek Welch. Row 2, Truxell and Will Jones. Still, all 3 championship drivers within the top 4. That's Welch, Truxell, and Jones. Will Hewitt trying to play spoiler here this afternoon. On this restart, though, the battle you're going to want to watch is going to be between Mark Truxell and Derek Welch. Truxell really in the best restart position between those two. I know it's third, but the outside driver on the front row on these restarts plagued every single time unless you can just guess when the leader is going to fire off. Pace car is in.
Green.
Green in the air, went real late in the restart zone. 10 laps to go. And that really gave the disadvantage now to Mark Truxell as Derek Welch able to hang on to that second spot. Hewitt with the lead, Welch second, Jones third, but Jones to the inside of Derek Welch for that second spot, looking for more. Championship on the line, the 46 to the bottom of the racetrack. Big time wiggle by the 1 of Derek Welch. He's chasing it up the racetrack, gets into Will Jones. They both straighten it out somehow. Now David Bradford into the picture. Into the third spot, not clear of Derek Welch, but you know he's going to try and help his teammate the best that he can here. Hewitt still leads. We'll watch this battle now. Derek Welch and Vincent Short with Mark Truxell to the inside. Will Jones in the championship position here in the second spot behind Will Hewitt. Welch tucks down in front of Mark Truxell. Battle for the lead shaping up. Hewitt's got it for now. Now to the bottom of the racetrack goes Will Jones. Can he slide job up across top of the racetrack? He can. He's there. Will we see the crossover? Will Hewitt. There he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. We got trouble behind. Peyton Wagoner in trouble again in front of Thomas McMullen and Steptoe. They come together and the caution is out.
Talk me through your lap one time real quick.
Definitely a tough night for the 8. It's at least our third time we've seen him involved in an incident this evening. Let's get a look at, see what happened to trigger this one off. Turn 2 has kind of been calamity corner here tonight. Looks like we're going to have to back this one up a little bit further. So see the number 8 blue AT&T machine topside, then the 42 in the bottom. It's Aaron Longworth. Hard to see exactly here. There might have been some net code involved. I know Longworth kind of disconnected there for a moment. Tough to say. It looks like there could have been some net code there. Then Wagoner trying to save the truck. Gets crossed up in the backstretch, and then Steptoe is just going to get into him here. So some pit stops underway here. And some indecision here in this field. The top 8 drivers have stayed out on the racetrack. They made their pit stop at lap 63, about 6 laps ago. But Will Hewitt, Whitmore, Short, Bobby Jr., Thomas McMullen, Peyton Wagoner all on pit lane here. Hewitt drops the jack. He'll head back out. First one off the pit lane, but he's going to be relatively deep in the field on this restart. We'll see if that's enough time for him to work his way back with this tire advantage. Of course, it's going to need to stay green, the exception of a potential green-white checkered finish, which may force everybody to pit or not, or maybe we see the same split we just saw this time. All that said, we still have 3 of our 4 championship drivers within the top 5. Should get this restart, I would say, at 4 laps remaining. But it's going to be a tough nut to crack because the Bradford Aeroworks teammates here are going to be on the front row. So they cross the stripe here. Of course, the lights on the pace car have been extinguished, so one more time around will be green. With 4 laps to go, it'll be David Bradford and Will Jones. Jones technically the race leader. He'll take the inside lane. Row 2 there will be Derek Welch and Mark Truxell. And Jones, Welch, and Truxell, the 3 eligible drivers to win the championship here tonight. Will this be the final restart of the afternoon? Will Jones on the gas very early here. Bradford does not get a good jump. It's going to open up the door for Derek Welch to jump to that second spot. Here comes Mark Truxell to the back bumper of the 13. Bradford now tucks in behind Welch. Thought about going to the inside. Jones put some distance on Derek Welch, a truck length and a half, maybe two, back to the one. Now David Bradford will look to the inside, and here goes Vincent Short, goes around, and the caution is out. We're going to go to overtime. Short gets turned. It looked to be off of two, maybe just the backstretch. Don't think he caught a piece of that wall. Let's take a look at it again. Short almost going up on his lid. And if Vince got that wall, it was just a tiny little kiss, so it looks like he should be okay damage-wise. Of course, these trucks are a little fragile here as of late, so we'll see. So will we see some takers this time? Nope. So I believe we're going to go to a green-white checkered here. I'm just looking at the numbers, though. If we get the one to go the next time, I don't think they'll let it happen this way, but I think technically you could get the green and white at the same time and still finish this during the scheduled distance, but I don't think iRacing lets it happen that way. I think if that is the case, it'll automatically go to a green-white checkered attempt, which we do have 3 here if necessary. So there it is. Yeah, would have been 2 to go, but now it goes 3 to go. So this will be our first attempt officially. Next time by, we will be green. Short has rejoined the field here at the back of the pack. Still a lead lap truck in 14th. Following up on the championship drivers, the front row is two of them. That's Will Jones, Derek Welch. Third is Mark Truxell. He'll restart in the 5th position on the low side. So here we go. Green-white checkered finish to settle it. Coming to green. Wrapping up caution number 9. Will Jones on the gas.
Green.
Jones gets away. Derek Welch side by side with David Bradford. Bradford wrapping the bottom of the racetrack. And Vincent Short pancakes the wall off of turn 2, keeps it straight down the back straightaway. Swapping lanes is Will Jones. Keenan Kimber now to the outside of Derek Welch. Welch on the charge, looking for the position on Will Jones. A truck length and a half off the back bumper as they work out of turn number 4. Coming to the white flag. Final lap here from Michigan Speedway. Will Jones leads it. Derek Welch is second. Just got to make it back around now for Will Jones to pick up a win and the title. He's got to keep it in front of the one of Derek Welch. Will Jones down the back straightaway for the final time. Started outside pole, and there's trouble in the back. It's not going to matter. Everybody on top of each other here into turn number 3. Derek Welch to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for the race lead. Slips up the track a bit, maybe some contact. Will Jones hangs onto it. Up the track again now. Keenan Kimber there to the back bumper, but Will Jones is going to win it at Michigan. Second place, Derek Welch gave it his all. Keenan Kimber will come home third. Will Jones from Bradford Aeroworks wins the race and the title. A hard-fought second place for Derek Welch. Bobby Jr. coming in to congratulate. Top 2 finishers parked here on the front stretch. Don't know if Jones is going to light up the rear tires here or not. Looks like not, so with that, we'll step aside here. We'll be back with our top 3 and our champion after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Racing isn't easy.
Back in Michigan Speedway to wrap this one up here. Championship done. Will Jones takes it. Not just the championship, but the race win as well. We'll see if we can get a word with the winner. Driver that number 46 Bradford Aeroworks machine. Will Jones, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
Will, congratulations, man. Outside front row starting position. Really didn't quit all night long there, battling for this thing like the only thing that mattered was the race win. I guess that's the best way to win the championship, is to win the race. But there were many times where you could have been a little more conservative, opted not to, drove that thing to the win, man. Walk us through the strategy for tonight and how you held those guys off there on the closing laps.
Man, I practiced this thing today about 75 laps earlier, and when I got into the race, it drove totally different than what my practice room did. And I really don't think I had anything for Derek. I honestly think that the cautions there at the end is the only thing saved me.
Well, whether it was cautions or raw pace, you come out the victor in the end regardless. The race win and the championship, man. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Man, it feels good. I've been racing with these guys a long time, and I never get to run a complete season. I missed 2 races at the end of this, at the first of this year, and just dug in and battled back and was able to come back and make it into the points, and then finally got me a championship that I've always tried to win.
Well, the championship's yours. The race win is yours. They can't take any of that away. Congratulations again, man. Who do you have to thank before we let you get out of here?
Yeah, man, I want to thank Derek and Mark and all those guys, man. Me and Derek had a good battle going there at the end. He could have dumped me. He got to my quarter and he rubbed me just a little bit, but I mean, rubbing's racing. I can't fault him for that, but he raced me clean. He's one hell of a driver, man. Hope that he's around next season, but just thanks to him for racing clean. Good job to Mark. Thanks for David and my teammate David. He's kind of helped keep me calm tonight because I was getting a little worked up because I was struggling there for a little bit. And thank Bobby for all he does for the league, and thank you for the broadcast, and thanks to all the fans watching.
All right, well, congratulations again, man. Good to talk to you, and good luck next season.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
It's Will Jones, your race winner and new champion here in the ProSim Racing Alliance. Next, we're going to talk to the runner-up here, the driver of the 1, Derek Welch. Pull him up into our broadcast booth. Derek, it's Steve with Track Limits. Do you got me?
Yes, sir.
Derek, congratulations, man. I can hear it in your voice already. I know you wanted this one in the worst way. I think you left it all out on the racetrack, though. You gave it all that you had. Let's talk about that last lap there. Of course, the green-white checkered finish, coming through turns 3 and 4, making a little bit of contact with Will Jones, though, but I think it was competitive contact from my perspective. But what was it on your end? Was there anything else you could have done short of just dumping him?
No, I had a lift right there. I didn't want to lift, but I had a lift. That's one way I don't want to win a championship. Dumping somebody, that's not cool. That's not right. That's not what kind of driver I am. I knew I had to get to that white line to even have a shot, and those trucks are the tail end's so loose once you get down there at that white line, and I was just holding on to her, hoping and praying she sticks. She stuck, but he was kind of squeezing me, which I don't blame him. I had to squeeze Bradford to get by back Bradford, so it's disappointing. Close again for a championship. I remember back long ago. You remember me and Vincent was going out the championship. We tied, and he won it because of more wins. I had fun. It was a good race. I wish the caution never came out, but I suck at short runs, and I gave her all I got. That's all I can say.
Well, Will Jones kind of said the same thing. The cautions really saved him and saved this race for him because he really thought that he didn't have anything for you here tonight. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. It is what it is. He still finished second, but above all else, really, you raised some eyebrows in this league here this season and certainly earned a lot of respect out there. So job well done. Congratulations. I know second place stings, but it's still something positive to hang your head on, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
With all that said, Derek, again, congrats. But is there anyone you want to shout out to before we let you go?
David, the lead admin, Will. Great season for Will Jones. It was fun battling with him at the end of that race. Mark, him as well. Me and him battling each other all night. It seems like me and him side by side all night long. My teammate Albert, he got knocked out early. He was very competitive tonight. And Lori for jumping in the chat. Wish I could brought home a trophy, but maybe next time. And you, as always, Steve.
All right, Derek. Well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats again, and good luck next season. Hope to see you there.
Thank you, sir.
It's Derek Welch, your runner-up in the race and in the championship as well. Again, those top two drivers, both championship contenders coming into this race tonight. But that's going to wrap it up. I don't think we have Keenan Kimber available for comment. He finishes in that third spot. A solid run for him as he started back in the 10th position and just quietly worked his way towards the front of the field. So with that, let's take a look here at our race results. Of course, we talked to the top two, and then Keenan Kimber was third. Fourth place was David Bradford. Colt Ansley comes home in the 5th position. 6th was a strong Will Hewitt. He was a top 2 contender almost all night long. All night long, certainly not the finish that he was looking for tonight. Bobby Hamilton Jr. comes home 7th. Mark Truxell was 8th. Aaron Longworth finishes in the 9th spot. Alan DeFries was 10th. Peyton Wagoner was 11th. Thomas McMullen 12th. Steve Whitmore finished 13th. Vincent Short, first truck one lap down. He'll finish 14th tonight. Jason Steptoe was 15th. Albert Anderson was 16th. 17th went to Frank Griffith. Rodney Roberts strong early as well. What could have been if he was able to stay out on the track tonight, not be involved in a wreck. He finishes second to last in 18th. And then there's last. The 19th place was Matt Nicholson, 52 laps down. That'll wrap it up for us here at Track Limits Network and the ProSim Racing Alliance. It's been a strong season for the outset for these guys. Looking forward to more coming up next season. They'll be in the new ARCA cars, so stay tuned for details on that. I believe we're still going to be broadcasting that here on Sunday nights. Again, more details to follow. Find us at youtube.com/@ Track Limits Network. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up, do so. Help us out. That's free to do. We don't charge for hitting the like button, but it does help quite a bit. Subscribe if you're not already doing that as well. We've surpassed that 1,000 subscriber mark earlier this year, so we're looking for more, trying to chase down, let's say the next mark, I guess 1,500 subscribers. That would be huge for us. That's about all I really got. Congratulations to Will Jones. Strong run, strong win, strong season, to no one's surprise. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Congratulations again. We'll see you guys at the next one. Thanks for watching.